The drama surrounding the real Martha from Baby Reindeer is getting so much worse.
Real-life Baby Reindeer star Fiona Harvey has sensationally threatened to sue Netflix for £11 million.
We did take every reasonable precaution in disguising the real-life identities of the people involved in that.
She's been identified, hasn't she?
The supposed real-life Martha from Baby Reindeer has been booked for a club appearance in Coventry.
Gadd himself is a self-confessed, very damaged guy. You know, maybe as she said, maybe he's concocted some of this himself. I don't know. How reliable a witness is he?
Hello you gorgeous donuts. Today we're going to cover the disturbing aftermath that has unfolded after the real Martha went on Piers Morgan to do an interview. Now we did actually do a full video where we dissected that interview, but in this video I kind of want to start the timeline just after that interview aired. Therefore we will be covering what Piers Morgan has said about Fiona Harvey, the real Martha, Fiona Harvey's explosive response to this, Fiona apparently getting booked to do meet and greets, Netflix's response to everything because nobody's talking about this, and a very well-known figure in the UK who has came out and accused Fiona Harvey of also stalking him. This is outrageous. Let's get into it. So shortly after that interview aired, Piers Morgan went on a chat show called Lorraine to talk about his experience with the real-life Baby Reindeer stalker, and I thought we'd cover it because it has quite a few interesting points in it. Piers claims that Netflix failed in their duty of care towards Fiona.
I think they failed in a duty of care to Fiona Harvey. There's no question about that, Netflix in particular. The key question is whether they've defamed her.
Do you know what is wild? Is, like, this entire show was created, you know, to kind of just bring awareness to people that are being stalked. And now we're like, hope the stalker's okay, though. Can we just consider her feelings and all of this? The alleged stalker. Sorry, alleged.
Because if you accuse somebody of being a convicted stalker and they're not a convicted stalker, that's a pretty serious mistake to make.
Very much so.
Now again, I get this, but they didn't reference Fiona Harvey by name. Okay, so they didn't say Fiona Harvey is a stalker. Okay, it's just people found the tweets and are putting two together. And I do feel like Piers contradicts himself a little bit because later in the interview he says this.
But when she came to the studio, she was actually relatively normal.
Right.
I didn't get any sign of somebody who I thought was mentally unwell.
Right.
But I do think she sent all these messages, and I do think that shows that she has an obsessive streak.
I do believe that she sent all those emails, but when I met her, she was pretty normal. He says in the interview that he doesn't think that she's mentally ill, but he does think that she sent all of those emails, and like, to me, that just really doesn't add up. Like, if somebody is harassing someone with 41,000 emails and loads of voice notes and calls, I would call that mentally unwell. That's just a personal opinion, I guess. He also said in the interview that he doesn't really know if she is a stalker, but if you do, again, think that she sent all these emails, surely that means then you do think she's a stalker. Unless you're sending somebody 41,000 emails, Piers. To be fair, yeah, I don't think that she's mentally unwell. I think that she's actually mentally strong. I mean, the resilience to send 41,000 emails with little replies, my God. I mentioned in the previous video we did that Piers only paid Fiona Harvey £250 to appear on his show, and in this interview he did actually respond to that.
And you know she wants £1 million off you now.
I do. No, she's not going to get £1 million.
She's not going to get £1 million.
What she wants is an agent.
But
actually, no, we give her the same amount we give, I would say, 95% of all our guests. And we don't discuss terms, but we pay for her to have a nice haircut and a car and everything else. I think we've performed our duty of care.
See, like, Piers is calling Netflix out for not doing their duty of care, and he says that they did do their duty of care. In my opinion, I don't think you did. I don't know why you're using paying for her to get a haircut and a car as like a get out of jail free card. It just doesn't add up because you're calling Netflix out for taking advantage of this woman, but in my opinion, you're doing the exact same thing. Only paying that woman 250 quid when she's brought you in like £250,000. You have took advantage of her. Like, you even said, yeah, she just needs an agent. Like, we just give her a low ball fee. He also said that that's just the fee that they pay most of the people that appear on their show. However, I did actually find this article. Piers Morgan producers are offering guests thousands to appear on his struggling TV show. Right, don't think 250 quid's quite thousands, guys. Mid-level celebrities or those in the public eye have reportedly earned more than $12,000, £10,000 for appearing on Morgan's show, according to The Guardian. So, again, I feel like Piers called Fiona Harvey out for lying in in his interview quite a few times in this interview. Whereas I just believe Piers is doing the exact same thing. He needs to just admit, like, yeah, I knew it would get loads of views. I knew it would make us loads of money. I don't really care about her. Move on. Fiona then did an interview with the Daily Record where she further demanded this from Piers. Baby Reindeer's real life Martha demands $1 million for Piers Morgan interview after £250 offer. Harvey from Aberdeenshire says she wants a bigger slice of the pie from the show's revenue and will settle for 7 figures. Oh, that's nice of her. Just 7. Right, there you go. Pocket change. That's what you put in the trolley at Aldi, man. Easy. Speaking exclusively to the Daily Record, she said they offered me £250 and I asked if that was what they paid everyone, and if so, I wanted documentation to that effect. The documentation has not been forthcoming. I have not signed a contract for the interview and I will be seeking far more than a piddling £250. Now, she does claim to be a lawyer, so she will probably know that she doesn't really have legs in this. Like, if you've agreed to go on the show for £250, I don't feel like later you can go, actually, right, that's done pretty well, give us 7 figures. And I said she should have got more money for this, but this should have been agreed beforehand. I don't think you can get it now. I read a snippet online that Piers felt very sorry for me, but he feels sorry for no one. That's exactly what I said. He literally does not feel anything towards you. He just wanted all the views and all the money for you being on his show. His staff was so nice and saying everything was okay. They even offered me a cup of tea. Sorry, it doesn't say that. But when I went in to meet him, he could barely look at me. Disgusted he was for some reason. I also think he's ill. He's very pale, white as a sheet under those TV cameras, and he looked very drawn. She has to insult everyone. Like, it's like she gets a kick out of it, just these little subtle insults. He's lost a lot of weight. Is he ill? You do wonder. To be fair, like, I feel like Piers Morgan's just been ill his whole life looking at him. Just quickly, guys, before we proceed with this Baby Reindeer video, please do make sure you've pressed the subscribe button. We are closing in on 400,000 donuts on this channel, and we're growing fast in this little corner of the internet. So if you want to join the donuts and have videos like this to binge watch when you're bored, just press subscribe and let's get back to the video. I think Fiona is probably feeling a bit pissed off because she's earned nothing from all of this. Yeah, she's got all of the infamous fame from all of this, but she won't be making any money off any of this. And she asked in the interview about how much Richard Gadd had made, so she was clearly interested, and now she saw how much Piers has made. She's gonna be pissed off. This is kind of centered, a lot of it is centered around her. I'm not saying that she should get any money. I'm just speaking from her point of view about how she will be feeling. I also feel like she will need the money to, you know, pay for the lawyers that she needs to, like, take on Netflix, because she wouldn't have been expecting this show to release, right? I imagine she hasn't got that much money, like, set aside for this, because who would, you know, well, I mean, if you did stalk someone, you probably might have think something was going to come and bite you in the arse. But, like, not many people have just, like, £250,000 spare to just spend on lawyers. So, yeah, I doubt that Fiona is going to get anything off Piers. I feel like the biggest hope she has is getting it off Netflix. And we're going to talk about that later in the video, how she could go about doing that. But moving on, another method where Fiona possibly could have made a little bit of money to pay for these lawyers is through this article that I saw when I was scrolling through my Facebook. World exclusive, a personal appearance by Fiona Harvey, aka Martha of Baby Reindeer, this Saturday, 18th of May. She will be signing autographs, taking selfies, and she may also take a lucky reindeer home to hang her curtains. Tag a friend who loves a bit of curtain hanging. Oh, we all love a little bit of curtain hanging though, don't we? Yeah, but not from a fucking stalker. Alleged stalker, sorry. Now, when I saw this, like, my jaw actually dropped because I believed it. I was like, genuinely, this is insane, and I feel like this is like a Black Mirror episode. Like, how is this happening right now? I instantly just thought, imagine if it was a guy stalker and he was doing nightclub appearances. Like, the whole world would kick off. So I put this on my story and I wanted to get a gauge if people thought this was true, or if anyone knew anyone who was associated with this nightclub who could tell me more. And I got like 5 or 6 replies from people from Coventry, where apparently this nightclub is based, saying, yeah, this has literally been advertised to us to go and see her. So genuinely, I was like, oh my god, this is actually happening. Now, I'm recording this on the 21st of May, which is 3 days after this supposed meet and greet was meant to happen. And I saw no footage that this actually took place, so I did a little bit of digging. And then it got reported in the Lad Bible that the nightclub had came out and said that they cancelled the booking. Unfortunately, the promoter of this Saturday's meet and greet with Fiona Harvey has deemed the event unsafe and cancelled the appearance due to the negative publicity. Yeah, no shit. You know what? I guarantee people would have actually went up and got a photo with her just to take the piss. So I don't know if this nightclub has like done this for free publicity or something, but if they have, like, that is absolutely outrageous. Like, I can't actually believe somebody would do that. And then Fiona Harvey actually came out in the Daily Record again. Baby Reindeer's Martha blasts venue over gig claim and says nightclub trying to exploit me. She said, of course it's not true. If I am supposed to be a mad stalker, why do they want me in in the nightclub. No nightclub has approached me. I didn't even know there weren't any nightclubs in Coventry. Why wouldn't there be nightclubs in Coventry? Sorry guys, this is strictly a no nightclub zone. Nobody's having fun in Coventry. Everybody hates themselves. To be fair, I would if I was from Coventry. She then added something really weird where she said, though I'd probably make more money signing autographs than I would from appearing on Piers Morgan. That kind of gives me the chills because I feel like she is probably at one point going to like book some sort of meet and greet or something like that, because she mentioned that she could write a book, and we all know what people do with book signings. With internet culture, you genuinely don't know where someone like this is going to end up. Is she going to end up, I don't know, being behind bars? Is she going to end up winning the case? Is she going to end up being a celebrity? Is she going to end up just kind of dwindling and nobody kind of talks about her in a couple of months? Nobody knows. And that's the scary thing. So moving on from all this drama surrounding Fiona Harvey and all of these different articles coming out, there was actually a really interesting response from Netflix that nobody is talking about. A Netflix producer that worked on Baby Reindeer actually responded to everything going on at the UK Parliament's Sport, Media and Culture Committee meeting.
Were you concerned about the characters being identified and the effect that it would have on the characters concerned?
This is a few people that have mentioned this. Do you think that they should have did a better job at covering the real people? Like, do you think they deserved that, the real people, if all of this is true? Like, especially Darian, do you think he deserves to have his identity kind of hidden? Do you think Fiona deserved to have her identity hidden if she is the real life Martha? It'd be interesting to hear what you think, because there's like two sides to it, right? There's the side where you're like, oh well, these people didn't know that the show was going to air, so all of this like hate, what could that do to their mental health? But on the other hand, like if like this is true, this is two awful things that these people have committed. Like, do they deserve to be hidden from the spotlight? Shouldn't this come to light? Shouldn't these people be exposed for what they did? I see people argue both ways all over social media.
We did take every reasonable precaution in disguising the real life identities of the people involved in that story, in the making of the show.
She's been identified,
whilst
hasn't she?
Also striking a balance with the veracity and authenticity of Richard's story.
The thing is, right, I have never been that critical of Baby Reindeer, the show, because I actually really enjoyed it and it really spoke to me. But I will say they didn't do the best job at like hiding Fiona or Martha. You know, like they look very alike. They even use the exact messaging terms that she sent. You could at least change it up a little bit if you really wanted to hide them. It would still be based on a true story. That's still a hard-hitting thing.
And we did also work very closely with the Susie Lampley Trust, who runs Britain's National Stalking Helpline, and also We Are Survivors, in promoting and launching the show. And they've said a lot subsequently about what the series has done to drive the conversation around this often quite taboo topic, particularly for male victims of stalking.
That is one thing that is really interesting from this, is the difference in like a male getting stalked and that story. Like, I feel like if this was the other way around, I feel like it would be totally different. I feel like we would be going harder on the guy. Like, even myself, I would be going hard on the guy, and I don't even know why that is. Like, it should be treated the same way, but for some reason it isn't. Everyone is saying that in the comments. If a man was a convicted abuser and stalker and was found similarly, there would be no cover-up for him. I do agree that there would be no cover-up for him at all.
The woman concerned, the Martha in real life, has now been identified, so presumably this will have quite a significant impact on her life. She's Scottish, I think, and works in the legal profession and is now contemplating legal action, I understand.
It is outrageous if, you know, Fiona is the actual Martha, because she's like, actually, guys, all of this is kind of having an effect on my life. I know I sent 41,000 emails or whatever it was, but can we just take a minute for me? I can't go to the local corner shop for a pint of milk now without getting stopped.
Ultimately, it's obviously very difficult to control what viewers do, particularly in a world where everything is amplified by social media. But fundamentally, this was about Richard's story and telling Richard's story in a truthful way. I personally wouldn't be comfortable with a world in which we decided it was better that Richard was silenced and not allowed to tell his story.
I agree with this point, and I think it's the most important point that he makes in this entire meeting. Richard Gadd should not be silenced. Like, he should be able to tell his story, because this story has helped so many people, including myself, like, come forward and talk about their own experiences, and I can't imagine how many lives this has actually saved, this show. And yes, people are accusing Fiona of being the real person, but if she is truly innocent, that will be found. If she is truly innocent, it will be easy to prove. But if she's not, and she is the person, then she should face the music. Do you know what I mean? You can't do something like that and then just get away with it and just say, oh, well, this is actually having an impact on my life. Like, no, you did something wrong. You have to face the consequences for that if this is true. Another thing that just baffles me is how all of this is centered around who the real Martha is. Like I said this in a previous video we did on Baby Reindeer. Everyone is like trying to figure out if Fiona Harvey actually did these things, but nobody is kind of unveiling who the real Darian is. You know, in episode 4 where that character does something terrible to Richard Gadd, nobody is trying to unmask that person. Nobody is trying to find the real identity of that person. We had Richard Osman, who came out in an article that we covered in the last video where he said everybody knows who it is. Richard Gadd has been very vocal about who this is in the industry, but nobody's actually saying who it is. I don't understand why this person is being protected a lot more than what Fiona Harvey is. Like, if there was even a fragment of information about this, I would cover it, but there's not. It's like it's been just brushed under the rug. I don't want to get too conspiracy into this, okay, because I want to keep this very much factual and very much what is happening. But a little part of me says, is this Fiona Harvey thing getting blew up more than it is by all the media outlets, etc., because they're trying to take attention away from who the real Darian is? Like, I know that's very conspiracy. There's no coverage of the real Darian, and it annoys us, because that is the real villain in all of this. Now, as the days passed and more interviews were coming out from Fiona and more people were talking about it, a lot of people started to like question the validity of Baby Reindeer being a complete true story and whether Fiona Harvey really is a convicted stalker. However, one thing that has really not went well for Fiona is another accusation has actually came out towards her, and this is from one of the most prominent figures in the UK, the leader of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer. He recently came out and said that Fiona has actually stalked him in the past. At this point, it's like, you know, when Davina McCall was on Big Brother and she was like introducing all of the contestants into the Big Brother house. We're going to need a Big Brother house just for people that have accused Martha of stalking them. Do you want another one? Baby Reindeer's real-life stalker Fiona Harvey bombarded Keir Starmer with vile taunts and chilling email spree. 276 emails sent over 8 months by Harvey to Starmer's MP email address. You know, like, she must have to buy so much storage with Gmail. Like, that woman must have, like, stocks in Gmail, surely. Keir, cut the crap with me, you stupid little boy. No, it's not funny. It's actually not funny. Why would you call someone stupid little boy? So weird. You get elected leader of non-party, and within 2 minutes I get an email calling me a racist from the housing ombudsman. I'm already complacent about you to the standards commissioner, who I guess what also does nothing. See, from now on I'll complain about the slightest little thing. Your life won't be worth living. You do all about anything and all I get is abuse every 2 minutes of the day from your non-party. I'm sick to the back teeth of it. Sent from my iPhone, of course. What other phone would you use? Already, right? That's just one email, and, you know, saying to someone your life won't be worth living is kind of dark, right? That's like something Batman would say, you know, whilst he's like strangling the Joker. Like, that is really dark, especially over email. I don't know why, like, she always puts sent from my iPhone. Like, I know that's the whole meme, but like, why? If this is her, she writes the most vile thing, but then she's like, actually, right, I need to make sure this is all good. I need to say it's from an iPhone though. That makes it all okay, because if this was from an Android, Christ, that would be a little bit off the rails. I wonder if she's got one of those phones, you know, one of those phones where like it's got like the 9 numbers and you have to press it like 3 times if you want a certain letter. That's why it's like all misspelt, you know, when she's like really angry trying to do it really fast. And then there's just like constant extracts from apparent emails that she sent him just relentlessly. Like, this is absolutely outrageous. Keir, you grotty wee cock. If animal supporters need to wind their FG necks in slagging off Boris on Twitter. Like, why is she so angry? So I think that if she does sue Netflix, she's not kind of gonna touch about the emails, because I feel like she kind of will backtrack and just admit that she probably did send some emails. Because is that 3 accusations she's had now, or 4 accusations that have come out? I mean, 1's quite a bit. 2, you start to be like, yeah, this could be true. 3, you're like, right, well. And 4, Christ. And this is why when she sues Netflix, I believe she's going to sue them based on the clip in Baby Reindeer where it says that she actually went to prison and she was convicted of the stalking charge. And I believe this is backed up by this article which says Baby Reindeer stalker Fiona Harvey claims she's suing Netflix for £11 million over serious false allegations. And there's also an extract in this article from a lawyer, Keir Starmer, who says Netflix have sold Baby Reindeer as a true story. Martha was portrayed as a convicted stalker who was sent to prison for serious crimes. She states that she has never been convicted of any crime and has never been to prison. It's clear that she's going to go down this route. She's going to go down the route that I've never been to prison and therefore your show being labelled a complete true story is false. And you know what? She probably has a case there, right? Because calling someone a convicted stalker and going to prison is a heavy claim. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how much of a case she has, but if somebody as big as Keir Starmer, who is a big lawyer, is on this, clearly he feels like she's got a case. But it's just mad that she doesn't want to disprove that, you know, she is a bit obsessive and a bit of a stalker by sending loads of emails. That's fine with people knowing that. She just wants people to know that she never went to prison for it, because that's the main issue here. Moving on, this kind of does put into doubt that the Netflix story was a complete true story, because it is stated in that show that she did get convicted of it. However, we all know that, you know, shows dramatize things, you know, for effect because it's a TV show. And as of recording this video, there is no evidence that she actually did go to prison. Like, even Piers Morgan came out and said that in an article. Piers Morgan has claimed that nobody can produce any evidence that Fiona Harvey, the reported real-life inspiration for the stalker character Martha, has been to prison. The denouement of the series involves the stalker in court admitting to her crimes and has been given an 8-month prison sentence. Nobody can produce any evidence that she has. It is just annoying because they are focusing on like such a technicality in the show. Like, nobody really cares about that. People just cared, are you the real person? Okay. I don't know how Piers has made himself like the centre of all of this, but he's recently came out and said that he's emailed Richard Gadd personally asking him to come on the show and saying that he can produce evidence or just he wants to chat with them. And honestly, mate, I feel like he made enough money off Netflix. I don't really feel like he needs the 250 quid, if I'm honest. And also, I don't believe it is Richard Gadd's duty to come forward and produce the evidence, in my opinion. I believe it should be down to either Netflix or just like a lawyer or a spokesperson for Richard Gadd. I don't believe that he should have to go and get quizzed about this in front of people live on air. Like, a lot of people are forgetting in this situation that this is real trauma that Richard Gadd went through. And I can't imagine how he is feeling right now. Like, I saw a photo, which I'm not going to show, of him. He was walking down the street, I think just going to the corner shop, and the man looked distressed. The man looked so as if he'd had like a lack of sleep, as if he'd been drinking. He didn't look in a good way. And the show has done so well to raise awareness about trauma surrounding the issues that have been discussed in the show. I just don't want this court case and all of this to kind of put a dampener on that, because this is one of the main reasons why people such as myself, such as other people who've been through trauma, don't come forward, because they're scared of the reaction. It's like what the producer from Netflix said. They didn't want to silence Richard Gadd. They believe that his story should be told, and that is completely right. And I just hope that Richard Gadd has got good people around him who are kind of guiding him through this, because this must be honestly awful. That as soon as that man leaves the house, imagine how many people are going to be asking him about it. Like, this man cannot go anywhere at the minute, and it's all happened so fast. Like, I imagine this guy wasn't getting stopped in the street that much before this, like, and it's like overnight he's like a big time celebrity. So yeah, I just kind of feel sorry for him, and I don't feel like this is gonna come to an end anytime soon, as I recently came across this podcast with Baby Reindeer, Fiona Harvey coming soon, and this is from James English, who's like a big British podcaster. I just don't see why more people are trying to interview her. Like, what more do you want to know from her? I think she kind of said all she needs to say on Piers Morgan's show. If you would like me to continue covering this story, just let me know in the comments if you want this. I know it's like unbelievable, and I don't know what's coming next. It's literally mental. And if you want to watch my full breakdown of the interview, click here, because I do a full rundown of it. Or if you would like to watch a more light-hearted video on Baby Reindeer, I did a new one on my Reacts channel that has just went live.
Kirkham, baby!